across the street is a big, we were at the church, and on up the street across is this huge.
I'm a board member of the Montana Human Rights Network and have been associated with the King celebration in Missoula for the last dozen years, which is as long as it's taken place at the community level. We have a good turnout today, considering the weather, I would think. We've got a good program here at Karis Park. It's brief, and then we'll march across the Higgins Street Bridge over to the St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Amy Martin is going to be singing. Janet Robideau is going to be giving some comments, and Steve Kalm, the professor of music at the University of Montana, will be leading us across the bridge. You know, I think we're here because King's message is still relevant today. The dream that King had has obviously not been realized. And for me at least, King's message shines through in three areas. One is racial justice, racial harmony. Not always harmony, but justice as, of course, the desired goal. The second King theme that strikes me as very central to King's life and work is peace, nonviolence, and opposition to militarism, to a foreign policy that is arrogant, as he charged the American foreign policy of the 1960s as being during the Vietnam era. And the third theme of King's work, which I think does not get the proper attention it deserves, but which was the central theme in the last 2 years of his life, was economic justice. People forget, and this comes home to me very clearly because I read all of the student essays every year. We have a contest. We have 300 or 400, up to 500 students from around western Montana who submit essays and artwork. We give them questions, and we try to provoke them to think about King's life and work. Most of them center in on race issues, which is fine. Some of them turn to war and peace, which is also fine. Very few of them address issues of economic equality, the great cause which King took up in the last 2 years of his life. He was an ardent supporter of working people, of labor unions, and in an age when corporate ethos is running roughshod over this country, we tend to forget that Martin Luther King marched with Walter Reuther of the auto workers, with A. Philip Randolph. He was in Memphis organizing with sanitation workers when he was assassinated. The Poor People's March on Washington in 1968, which he was organizing, was designed to bring people of color and white working people together in a coalition. King saw that it wasn't enough to have racial harmony or racial justice. It wasn't enough to have a foreign policy that was fair. You had to link that to the causes of so much of the injustice in the world, and that was economic inequality. And when we see in this world of 2005 corporate executives making 500 or 600 times what their average workers make, and when we have chairmen of boards of this country who are making what the income of several countries in the world, that's what King would have been concerned about, as well as a foreign policy which is arrogant and full of hubris and imperialistic. I don't think there's any doubt but that King would find today's American policies, domestic and foreign, abhorrent to him. But a lot has happened since then, and I want to not end on a note of pessimism, because we've all been part of doing things that matter and improving things, and that we should take heart from. King's message was one of hope and joy and protest. He was arrested every year of his life from the 1950s until he died. So when people tell you, the King's message was one of love and brotherhood and holding hands, well, that was true. But King's message was also one of boycotting and sit-ins and and protests and marches and disobedience and getting arrested. And so he was willing to walk the walk. Now, Janet Robideau is a woman that I've known for almost as long as I've been in Missoula, which is going on 15 years. She is the executive director of Montana People's Action. She's also the director of Indian People's Action. She has spoken before at King events, and one of the highlights of the King celebrations came many years ago when Janet spoke at the First United Methodist Church. And I still remember that talk that she gave. She is an inspiration to me. She is well known in the community. She's well known in circles beyond Missoula. I remember it was 2 or 3 years ago that she was chosen as an American delegate to the World Conference on Racism in South Africa. She's traveled elsewhere in this world and has seen what third world people are up against. But she's fighting the battle every day here in Missoula, Montana for justice and equality. And so I want Janet to come up and say a few words, and then we're going to hear from Amy Martin and her wonderful songs. I've lost Janet. There she is.
Hi. I'm going to sound jumbled because I spent the weekend trying to write something new, something profound, something that was just going to awe you. And I realized around 10 o'clock this morning that that wasn't going to happen, that there was nothing new to say, that there was nothing that I could say that you haven't already heard. So I have this jumbled thing that I quickly put together. I had the opportunity to watch the growth of the civil rights movement in the 60s. I was in an Indian boarding school in southeastern Montana, and there were few televisions, but when I could access one, I watched the news. I watched in amazement at what was happening, and I wondered how people could deliberately put themselves in harm's way as I saw what was going on. Many were hurt, many were lost their lives, and I believe that it's up to us to make sure that Dr. King and all of those that came before us, especially those that lost their lives in this fight for equality and fair and equitable treatment for everyone, did not give up their lives in vain. And I was wondering, how far has equality moved forward since the civil rights movement? In some ways, we've come a long way. In other ways, and right here in our great state of Montana, I see unfair and discriminatory practices committed against my brothers, my sisters, my neighbors, my friends. And I'm right back to the time when Montana stores had signs in the windows that said no dogs and no Indians allowed. I work with an organization where every day, I see how people are treated differently because someone else has deemed them less than. I see people treated less than because of their skin color, their sexual orientation, because they have a disability, or because they don't happen to have as much money in the bank as somebody else does. People are forced into positions of feeling less than because someone else has tacked a label on them. We have not achieved equality if we lay the blame on the individual who happens to be in need. I hear those who truly do not know and do not understand what's going on because sometimes they choose not to. But I hear them blame the individual. Can I get my daughter up here? Francine! Jesus, I'm sorry, I just need to, I have a sciatic nerve problem. I'm really trying to get you all that feel sorry for me. Jesus. Okay, much better. Thank you. All right, now I'm going to talk longer because I lost a couple of minutes. So I hear people say, well, if you only go out and get a job. And you should know that Montana continues to rank in the top 7 states in the nation where people are working 2 or more jobs to survive. Or else they say if you only pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, one of our members stated one time that I have pulled myself up by my bootstraps so much that the bootstraps have broken and I have nothing left to pull on. It is inequality when people are forced to choose between food and prescription drugs that keep them moving. It is inequality when people have to choose between clothes for their children or to pay a utility bill that continues to skyrocket every winter. It is inequality when decision makers decide that programs that help people survive must be placed on the chopping block because these decision makers feel that these people are only taking advantage of the system. Dr. King wanted equality and social and economic justice for us, and we need to continue to move toward achieving that goal. We need to be there for each other. We need to, because when we stand together, we become powerful. When we stand together and we shine the light on the wrong has to be brought to public notice. When we stand together and we say that this is wrong, you cannot treat us or our fellows this way, then we are truly fighting for equality and economic and racial justice. We need to be sure that we are all treating one another with respect and dignity, and that we do what we can to make this place, Missoula, Montana, one where equality is a reality. Not just on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but every single day of the year. We need to be there for each other. I'll be there for you. Will you be there for me? Thanks.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Janet and Amy Martin, who has become a light in this community, kind of a progressive as far as folk singing and songwriting go. A lefty. She calls herself a lefty. I read that on her webpage, and that made my heart kind of tingle. There aren't many people these days that call themselves lefties. Well, she's one, and she's a great folk singer, a great singer of many different kinds of songs, and she's going to enchant us with some of her music now. Let's give her a good welcome.
I didn't get a chance to talk to Janet before she spoke, but I feel like we did because I feel like our messages today really fold together well. I was thinking about doing this, and I've done it for 3 maybe years now, and as is the case almost every year, because this is the way Missoula is that most of the faces here are white. And I always feel like we're singing songs from the Civil Rights Movement, which is awesome because we need to tap into that tradition, but I decided to hijack that and write words that call us out to speak to each other a little bit today. So I don't mean to exclude those of you who are not Blanco like me, but I feel like that there's a special need for those of us who are kind of born into the privilege and the entitlement of being white to really call each other out on our stuff. And this crowd here, I know, is capable of doing that. So, and I need your help. Oh my God, my guitar's cold. So there's 2 parts of the song. There's a verse and a chorus, and on the verse, I need you to sing this. Wake up the family. Can you try that? Wake up the family. And then I also need you to go, wake up, wake up. Right? Wake up, wake up. So that's the verse part, and the chorus goes like this. Wake up, wake up, wake up the family. We gotta wake freezing their patooties off. Woo. I'm gonna just forget about this. It's too cold. Does everybody know soon and very soon? All right. Well, we're gonna learn it. It's soon and very soon we're gonna change this world, and you can yell out soon and very soon we're gonna whatever. Like we did this at Sussex, and there was a couple Sussex. So if you have any ideas, or anybody else, throw them out. All right. Soon and very soon we are gonna change this world. Soon and very soon we are gonna change this world. Soon and very soon we are gonna change this world. Forever and ever we're gonna change this world. Let's try it again. Soon and very soon we are gonna
Thanks, Amy. And now Steve Calm is going to lead us across the bridge over to the church. And you want to say a couple words? So we don't have songs, Steve.
Well, it's always been my belief that if you want to stay warm, you have to sing loud.
Yeah!
So let's start off with a couple of verses of We Shall Overcome, and we'll try to keep it together here. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in our hearts,
Hey, Mike, how's politicking going?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, I see. Let's see, where'd you? The last thing I saw your placards. You're running for what? Senator, was it?
Congress.
Congress. Yeah,
Needed to keep some ballot status, so we
yeah, you gotta keep your name out there.
doing a little better, but
Yeah, I gotta get in politics myself. I wanna. If they have the position, I want to run for dog catcher. See if I can get 10% of the vote.
well, you never know.
Not if I could do that.
There's lots of people that get written in those positions.
Tonight our featured speaker is Godfrey Saunders. soon to be Dr. Godfrey Saunders, PhD. We are very lucky to have him. He's a distinguished, award-winning educator. Grew up in Fort Pierce, Florida, and grew up in a time that for most of us here tonight is a time of almost make-believe, a time that we don't really remember, a time that we can only read about. Mr. Saunders lived through those years. He was telling me earlier that his father, in fact, never voted. He was never able to vote while he was growing up, which is a foreign concept to most of us. So we welcome him tonight. We later on will have the winners of some of our essay contests come up and read for us. And afterwards we will have a reception downstairs. But right now, let's please welcome Mr. Godfrey Saunders, principal of Bozeman High School.
Thank you. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. I too would like to thank the choir. There's something about those voices that soothes the raging beast inside of anyone. It was wonderful. And thanks for the kind words, Fred. Before I begin tonight, I'd like to say a few things up front. I've never felt sorry for myself, nor entitled to anything but an opportunity in this country in my lifetime. Civil rights and Dr. King's dream, the movement, was not a black thing, it was a human thing for all mankind, not just for blacks. And I also tell people, bigots and evil come to people of all colors, all cultures, and all faiths. So keep that in mind. As you've been told, I'm Godfrey Saunders. I'm the principal at Bozeman High School. I've been an educator for 29 years. My family, I have a wife and 5 kids. Now you're probably saying, oh, his poor wife. Yes, 2 are adopted, 3 are birth kids. Ages 15, 16, 17, 19, and 23. All of them are up for adoption if you're any takers. These are trying times. We have disagreement. As long as they don't kill anyone, we can work on it. And when you get to civil rights, when you get to bigotry and hatred, you have to kind of keep things in perspective, I think. Over the years, I've had an opportunity to cry about civil rights, about prejudice and bigotry. I've had an opportunity to laugh. Take, for example, when I first went to college in Dillon, Montana. I left southern Florida to come to college in Dillon, Montana, because I wanted to experience the West. I used to see the cowboys and their horses and field and stream, and beautiful rivers, people fishing. So I went to Dillon, Montana. And this was in 1971. I get off the bus, I go to the store, go to college. First store I went to, a little kid comes up to me and said, "Are you an athlete?" I said, "No, not really." "Do you sing, you dance?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well, why are you black?" He was just a little kid, so I don't know, I'll figure that out. I did major in biology, I've got the answer now. So you have to have a little fun, you have to laugh, because laughter is kind of healing for the soul. I was born and raised, like Fred said, in southern Florida, Fort Pierce. During the Jim Crow years and the separate but equal years, I went to separate schools for 12 of my 13 years, if you count kindergarten. I was slow, not that slow. My senior year, they consolidated the schools in my hometown. It was not an easy consolidation. Restaurants were segregated. My wife will catch me every now and then at the Dairy Queen in Bozeman. I'll start walking toward the rear, because that's where I used to get my ice cream, under the fan window at the Dairy Queen in my hometown. And she'd say, "Where are you going?" And I'll catch myself. I said, "Oh, no, nothing." It was just, there was something I was looking at in the back. Too ashamed to let her know that some things are very difficult to get rid of. I grew up watching movies at the Sunrise Theater in what was known as nigger heaven. In the South, blacks had to sit in the balcony, and they said that's the first and only time that a black would be above a white, so they must be in heaven. So they termed it nigger heaven, or the crow's nest. I was one of those guys that always accidentally managed to spill my pop or my popcorn over the railing. It was purely accidental. All of the services were separate. We had a parade, a Sandy Shoes Festival parade. Huge parade. I mean, literally thousands of entrants. And it would last for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you numbered the entrants, 99 would be the Ku Klux Klan, and entrant number 100 would be the Lincoln Park Academy High School Marching Band, which was an all-black school at the time. The KKK would be in front of our band. There would be their horses, men, violent Klansmen on horses, and then our band. They'd walk along, snapping their whips at the crowd. People would be cheering. Our band would march through droppings and all, heads held high, and they played marvelously. Totally full of pride. The culmination for me in civil rights and the Jim Crow laws hit when I lost a friend. His name was Pondexter Williams. Pondexter was a great football player in our school. He had a 4-year scholarship. He was a hero in the black section of town. It was highly unusual for black guys to get scholarships to Notre Dame. He had a full-ride scholarship. He was an excellent athlete, but he got drafted. He went to Vietnam. I remember it just like it was yesterday. He goes to Vietnam. The papers asked him, "What will you do in Vietnam?" He said, "I'm going to run, I'm going to zig, I'm going to zag, and I'm going to miss all the bullets." Well, like many others, he did not miss all the bullets. He didn't come back alive. They shipped his body to Fort Pierce, and his mother wanted him buried in the Veterans Cemetery in my hometown. Well, his body lay in state for 14 days because they wouldn't bury him in the cemetery because he was black. And we didn't have a black veteran cemetery, only a white one. It took an act of Congress to get his body buried, and after being buried, they threatened to dig him up. I started to question my faith. There were 7 kids in my family, and a mom and a dad who were totally religious, very religious. My dad had a tendency to sway once in a while, but my mom was as solid as a rock. She didn't drink, she didn't smoke, she could swear with the best of them, especially when she was upset. But they provided a good balance for me. When I would question my faith in this country, when I would question my faith in mankind, when I would question my faith in God, my father was always there, and he would say, "Reason is the way. Reason is the way. Violence only begets violence." My mom, on the other hand, would say, "Yep, turn the other cheek, but make sure you bring a right cross with it, boy." So I had a mix growing up and had to choose for myself. I took Dr. King's dream for granted. I'm sad to say. It wasn't until 1984 that I realized how important his dream was to me. That my past and my future was tied to his dream. Much like the future of this country. You may not know it, but your past, your future, is tied to his dream. In 1984, I was placed in a hospital in Billings, Montana. I was there for 13 days. They said, "We don't know if you're going to live or die." We have two things we can do. We've got to cut your throat first, simple procedure. And if we don't find what we're looking for there, we're going to open up your chest. But there are no guarantees. At that moment I said, if that's God's will, so be it. It was the first and only time in my life, that I really knew that there was a heaven, that there was a hell. I didn't have a worry in the world. I often wondered what it would be like, but it was my time to die if I had the time to reflect. But I'm here to tell you, there's a light on the other side, unlike anything we've ever seen. I was given a second chance. And even then, I started to think, I have a $250,000 life insurance policy. My car will be paid for, my house will be paid for. My family is worth more to me dead. I'm worth more to my family dead than alive. And I'm a trained counselor. And in the hospital, when you're ill, they give you all kinds of drugs. They just kind of load you up. They even give you extras. And I said to myself, if I take everything in this room, it'll be over. And my family will be well taken care of. No medical bills, no high cost. They'll be fine. At that moment, my daughter called, my oldest daughter, who was 23 today, and she said, Dad, it was December 26th. She said, Dad, I love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. And I said to myself then, she saved my life. And I lay back on my bed, and I began to reflect. My house, my car, everything I owned wasn't the most important thing to me. The one thing that mattered most to me when I let go was what kind of a life had I made for the people that I met. It was the most important thing. I could see the faces of the children, the kids that I taught. I could see the faces of the adults that I interacted with. And they were smiling. Then I knew I had made the right choice. Instead of pursuing professional sports, becoming an educator. I knew at that time what Dr. King's dream meant. That's when it hit me. I knew then that I owed a great debt to those who had gone before me, to those who were here, and to those who will come after me. We all owe a great debt. Why? If we don't teach, if we don't model, if we don't lead by example, if we are not courageous in our efforts, we are doomed to relive the mistakes of our past. We're doomed to hear the sighs of fathers, the screams of mothers, and the cries of frightened children. My words may appear a little harsh, ladies and gentlemen, but these things happen in this world. They happen in our country. A country prides itself on doing what is right. You name the cultures, you name the faiths, you name the groups. It could be blacks, Indians, Irish, Italians, Asians, Catholics, Jews, Mormons. None of us have been, none of us will be exempt. If you dare to be different, if you dare to think different, if you dare to say different, you are not exempt. Evil never sleeps. It never sleeps. There are those who would like to see the atrocities of the past happen again. Hate, you see, is the one emotion that rivals love. It's a strong and binding emotion. Believe me, it is strong. And it rivals love. We cannot afford to sleep. Dr. King used to say, for evil to win, all it takes is for good men to do nothing. evil, we cannot afford to sleep. Look around us. Read the papers, watch the news. There are those who embrace the symbols of evil that millions have died fighting, that millions have died defending the Constitutions for, that millions have died for what is good and right. Our Constitution is very important to us. It carries some basic guarantees that you and I and others are entitled to: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Simple things. Not much. Little things. Aside from that guarantee, we have earned that right. It has been an earned right by many. Earned by the blood, sweat, and tears of the single mothers working 3 jobs, farm and ranch families, rich in pride, but hurting financially. Businesses struggling to remain competitive. Educators using their own funds to supply their rooms. Families with loved ones fighting abroad. That right has been earned by people of all walks, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let the stats tell you differently. Which brings me to the point of my address. What will you leave? My sister-in-law lives in southern Florida, and I think that she lives by the computer, because she sends me emails every day, 2, 3 sometimes a day. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what are you doing, Patsy? You know, most of the time I delete them, believe me. I don't tell her that I do what I do. And I want to read them, but I just don't have the time to sit and go, and they're long. And it's, most of them are those things that you pass from one person to the next and so forth. Well, I just will. And I tell my wife, and she's okay with it, but this one, I didn't delete it, and I don't know why I didn't delete it. I opened it up, and it had a profound effect on me. It was as though I was destined to read this. And it's a story during the Depression years in a small town in southern Idaho. Behind. The gentleman telling the story said that he was visiting a southern Idaho town, and he stopped by a proprietor's farmer's market to get some fruit. And while standing there, he saw a young boy come over to the proprietor and said to the proprietor, "Them some nice looking green peas you got there." And the proprietor says to him, "Yeah, they sure are. What do you have to trade? What do you have to give me for it?" And the kid reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a marble. "I got this marble here. It's a beauty, nice and blue." And the proprietor says, "Well, I kind of like red ones, you know, bright, shiny red ones. But here, you take this home to your folks and see if you have a red one." The gentleman who was telling the story said he asked the proprietor's wife, "What is this?" And she said, "There are 3 boys in this town who are in the same boat. They're very poor, they don't have much, and they always bring their marbles to barter with my husband. He would never take their marbles, and it's the same story over and over again. He gives them stuff and they take it home to eat, to cook and eat." Some years passed, and he went back to that town for a reunion, a high school reunion of one of his friends. While there, he learned that the proprietor had died, so he decided to attend the funeral. He went to the church, and after church, he met the proprietor's widow. And the widow was talking to him, and about that time 3 men came, and she pointed to them. 2 were well dressed and their military uniforms, and one was well dressed in a business suit. Each thanked her for all that she'd done for them and gave her a hug and condolences, and they walked past the casket. And as each walked past the casket, they touched the man's hand, the proprietor's hand. And she said to the gentleman who was back for the reunion, those are the 3 boys that I told you about some years ago. And she grabbed this guy and she took him by the casket. And she went over and she opened up her husband's hand. And inside his hand were 3 bright, shiny red marbles. That's what he left behind. That was his legacy. Something as simple as a bag of peas. Something as simple as a red marble. What will we leave behind? What will you leave behind? When our time comes, and they walk past our casket, what kind of a life will we have made for those who we've met? My challenge to you is to not go quietly into the night. To live, protect, and promote the dignity of all life. To not let the echo of hate take over what we do. To not be silent, because silence is only passive approval to hate. To challenge yourselves and others to live out the true meaning of that Constitution, that we are all guaranteed to be able to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. Freedom for all. I interviewed for a job in Bozeman in 1983. And Joe McKethan asked me, he was the athletic director then, he said, assuming all things are equal, outside of your family, outside of your faith, outside of your country, I have 3 things that I try to live by: God, country, and family. Everything else falls below that. He said, what's the most important thing to you? This isn't my job interview. I'm interviewing for a coaching job and a teaching job. It had nothing to do with education. I said my freedom. About 20 years later, he said, do you remember what you said in your interview? And I said, yes, I do remember. You asked me what was most important, and I said my freedom. He said, I was a little bit surprised because you didn't answer that question like you were applying for a teaching job. And I said, the job is secondary to my freedom. I know what it means to be without it. I know how it feels to be without it. There are some things that I'll never give up, and that's one of them. Our freedoms, ladies and gentlemen. I will not sacrifice my freedoms for comfort. I will not sacrifice my freedoms for safety. Then, when you do, you only exist. You don't live. You just exist. And I won't do that ever again. I will not fear death or love life so much that I fear death. Because when I do, I will die, that old saying, many times over. I want to do what's best for all human beings. There's no humane way to eliminate a people. There's no humane way to do it, as evil would have us do. There is no way. Don't be tricked into thinking that there is. There's no humane way to have a black homeland, a white homeland, an Asian homeland. There's just no humane way to do it. We have what we have. Martin Luther King said it best. If we don't learn to live together as equals, then we will die together as fools. But I have a great hope for this country. I have a great hope for America. I have a great hope for Montana. The beauty of this country, Montana, that's what attracted me to it. But what endeared me to it has been its people. The country is nothing without the people. There have been good times, there have been bad times. But I want you to know, I can never repay what I've been given to Montana. When I left Southern Florida at 17, and I came to Montana, it was the first time in my life that I ever felt true freedom. Sure, there were bigots around here and there, but the one thing was, you could at least earn your respect, their respect. People expected for you to stand up and fight for what you believed in, what was right. I didn't mind doing that. But nobody cared what color my friends were. Nobody cared if I was out past dark. Nobody cared that I was different. People would speak to me and they didn't even know me. At first I was sure they had something up their sleeves. They were just being nice. That didn't happen where I came from. So I want to tell you now, if they're going to take my freedoms away from me, something good, so that you will have those shiny red marbles. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. As I told Fred, I kind of try to adhere to President Roosevelt's belief, the 3 B's of speaking. Be brief, be sincere, and be seated. But I want to thank you for this opportunity. And I apologize for being emotional. But I wear my heart on my sleeves, and there's not much I can do about that. The kids say you're this big, huge teddy bear. And but I do. There's something about humanity that just, it's a beautiful thing. And I hope and pray that you're blessed in all that you do. I hope and pray that you get everything that you ask for. I hope and pray that you continue to have the strength to continue the struggle. I won't see it in my lifetime. Many of you won't see it in your lifetime. But there's hope. It will be seen in my grandkids' lifetime. I firmly believe that. In this country, it will live out its true meaning, its creed, as Dr. King said, its dream. Thank you, and God bless.
thanks again to the Health PhD requirement. Godfrey is a tough act to follow, but these guys did okay. What we'd like to do now is something we do every year. Part of our celebration is an essay, poetry, and art contest. We'd like to have some of the winners come up and read for you their winning essays. So if I could get Marlena Norkey up here. Also Sarah Elizabeth Anderson and Kelsey Angel. You're here. winners in the poetry essay contest were Jane Elizabeth Peterson and Madeline Murdoch. In grades 6 through 8, we had Brittany Dahlberg and Christy Keys. In the high school level, we had Abby Volkman and Brooke Ronick. The art contest winners in grades 3 through 5 were Kyle Copeland, Dina DeFort, Haley Grace Smith. In the middle school, we had Susan Seraph, Trevor Rasonic, and Bryce Fry. And the art contest winners at the high school level Siri Hamalainen, Tempest Sanders Garrett, and Savannah Logan. Let's applaud them. Before we wrap up tonight, there's a couple of quick announcements, and we will end with the songs that are in your booklet. One of the things that's going on, you all know, is the tsunami and the ensuing response. Missoula, our community, has begun to respond to this effort. And someone asked me to read, just very quickly, that there is a new local group forming in the wake of this disaster. They're called Missoula Community Tsunami Response. The goal of this group is to mobilize Missoulians into a long-term support effort. This is going to involve a sister city, which Missoula has ties with already. It's called Gaul in Sri Lanka. If you want to know more about this, you can go to missoularesponse.org for a sign-up email list. Or if you want to know more about it, you can contact Amy Martin or talk to me, and we'll get you to the right people. Also, there will be a reception in the basement immediately following this event. And our final announcement, the 4th grade class at Chief Charlotte School is presenting a play about Martin Luther King this week. This will be going on a couple times. Thursday the 20th at 12:25, Friday the 21st at 10:20, 1 o'clock, and 2:20, and also Monday the 24th at 10:20, 1 o'clock, and 2:20. That's at Chief Charlotte School. Now what we'd like to do is end with our songs. They're printed in your booklet, and if you know these, please join us in singing. The choir will kick us off, but it's not their job to sing now, it's yours. So let's all, let's stand up and sing us out. We'll start with This Little Light of Mine, and keep your eyes on the prize and play the Greek cello.
About this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the town, choir's not so sure of this one, so if you are, really sing out. But I think something like, Paul and Silas found in jail, had no money for to go their bail. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. The only thing that we did wrong was staying in the wilderness too long. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. The only thing that we did right was the day we began to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Got my hand on the freedom plow. Wouldn't take nothing but my journey now. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. We had a few versions going there, but not too bad. If you feel so inspired, it would be fine to take your neighbor's hand on this last one. We shall overcome. I'll even try to find a good pitch for you here. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe.
reception. If I could have all the contest winners come up to the front here, I've got certificates for all of you.
Seconds, here we go. 20 seconds until showtime. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Other People's Pockets. My name is Mike Fellows, the producer, director, and on-air talent. This is a libertarian program that's done every first and third Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Here on Missoula Community Access TV. Lots of things been happening here in the last couple months. We saw the legislature is in session over almost, I guess, a little over 2,000 bills that were introduced, and they've still got quite a few bills left to deal with after the changeover point, another 45 days. To make it those bills that did not get out of committee, did not pass each respective house, are pretty much dead, which can be a good thing for bills. Some of the main things that they're talking about this year in terms of school funding, and it's really tough to base school funding all on money, because when you look at the overall scheme of things, Montana currently pays $5,000 and some dollars per kid state funds to go to school. If you look at the school district that probably spends the most, at least in 50 states plus District of Columbia, is probably the District of Columbia, that spends over $18,000 per kid, yet they happen to be one of the worst school districts in the nation, and one that I would not want to send my kids to based on those charts and things that have came out by the National Education Association. They put Montana in the middle of the bunch, but still, money's not everything. And when they're trying to define quality education, I think they're missing some things like charter schools. They're missing competition in schools, choice in schools, because that money is basically a voucher, because the state is paying each kid a voucher of $5,000 and some dollars, and that voucher, libertarians believe, should go to the school of your choice, because what we're trying to do is trying to empower parents. We're trying to empower students to do the best that they can, and to do that they need to find the school of their choice, and sometimes the teachers of their choice, if that's the case, because sometimes you have a better school in, say, chemistry, or a better school in, say, basketball or football or math and sciences, and those are the school that you want to put your kids in. And I know that Idaho has a law that says you can basically take your kids out of certain districts, and so my grandfather years ago did that in Lewis, Idaho. Went down to Lapway and got a good kid that was excelled in basketball, and thought he'd do better at Lewis than he would at Lapway, and consequently moved him up to Lewiston, as long as he had a way to get up there. Got a better education, did well in athletics, and probably went on to bigger and better things. Other things we saw in the first half of the session, things like seatbelt laws. They're trying to change an active, or change the passive to an active. We know that seatbelt usage is going up. Here in Montana, it's going up nationwide, but it's primarily going up because we've got the education process in place people are realizing that in some cases seatbelts will save you. There's probably a few cases where you get in trouble and seatbelts probably won't do a thing. But all in all, it's probably a good thing to wear seatbelts. But a lot of people don't want to be so-called forced to use them. Plus, I think, do we really need law enforcement on every corner with binoculars saying, "Oh, that guy doesn't have a seatbelt. Let's give him $20 ticket." Because in a sense, when they tried to change this law in Washington State from a passive, from an active to a passive, the group actually came up with a memo from the Washington State troopers that essentially said that if you're not writing 20 to 30 tickets a day, you could be found out of a job, and you're not going to be obviously placed for incentives or investments. And I think you're going to find that here. In fact, we often see that in various cases where the legislature will pass something that brings in revenue, but they'll decrease the money on the other end. So if the fiscal statement for the seatbelt law says that they're going to take in another $160,000 a year based on the number of tickets they write, then the legislature might just take that money from the front end and move it somewhere else, therefore forcing the law enforcement to eventually have a quota system to pick up those things. I think you're going to see that with seat belts. You'll probably see it with open containers. Luckily, the cell ban and driving while using a cell ban or cell phone didn't pass. It died in committee. I mean, those are things that sure we've got people that don't know how to drive with cell phones, but for the majority of people that drive responsibly use those cell phones, they should not be penalized to their good fortune just because of a few people that shouldn't be driving at all, probably. And you're gonna see quite a bit more.